do you suffer from gender dysphoria? Do you still? Did you know in the DSM, there was this big argument going on TikTok with trans people because there were some trans people going, it's like if you don't have gender dysphoria, you're not trans. It's like, and they're really militant about it. So I did some snooping, or I did some, looking into the science books and stuff, and it was actually how does it go? It was declassified as a mental illness in I believe it was the 90s, wasn't it? Because in this DSM, it's not considered a mental illness. And gender dysphoria, not every trans person gets it. And I had a hard time wrapping my head around that. It's like I was going, well, okay, well, if you don't have dysphoria, then why would you change? You know what I mean? Like I couldn't really wrap my head around that. But I think it's so what do you think? What do you guys think about that? Because it is hard to wrap your head around it. And you know how everybody starts losing their shit and stuff when we're just trying to have a good dialogue. So I think it's important to talk about this. Because, it turns into infighting and stuff. And then, it just fractures us as a community. So we need to be able to talk about this stuff without losing our minds. So what do you think about dysphoria? Do you think it says in the books now that you do not need to have gender dysphoria to be trans. So how does that work? Let me know. But for dysphoria, for me, I was thinking about that today, and I was feeling a bit dysphoric yesterday. It was my husband's birthday. I've been having problems with, my kitty cat, and I've been struggling to see this gynecologist who actually deals with trans patients, and I couldn't believe that he lives on the island. He had me doing a lot of exercises, let's say, because I have not been able to, be intimate with my husband much this whole marriage, because, after my last marriage ended, I really stopped dilating. I ended up starting to dilate, and it was really scary, and it was like it took a while, and I'm still trying, and I ended up I'm seeing this gynecologist, and long story short, he gave me some cream to help with stuff, but I found the cream actually gave me I had a reaction to it down there, and then just this, that, and the other thing, and it's been trying. It's been very trying. I've been able to. There has been a lot of progress, which is good, but I think it's a lot psychological too, right? But it's I was talking to my husband yesterday, and I told him, I said, I've been traumatized by my genitals ever since I can remember. I just have. It's like, as trans people, we are too, especially if you come from back when, the Harry Benjamin days that, like I did, deconstructing all that stuff and everything. And, I don't even know. It's like, I don't even know if I would have wanted it. It's like if I was like 20 years old today, knowing what I know now and stuff, it's just, it's pretty punk rock to do that. Right. And, so, like, I'm not saying like I have regrets or anything, but it's like, because I've had tons of fun like this, right? But anyways, my dysphoria is all around that. Like it's like, and it's around not being able to give my husband a good birthday present type of thing. And he's loving and everything, and it doesn't matter to him. Whenever I'm comfortable. So I realized it's like, I was dysphoric about that. I was dysphoric about, I'm usually only dysphoric about my relationship with my husband, and thinking like, does he think something's wrong with me? Like, it's like, because I'm trans, and it's like, I can't function really like that. But then, just regular, assigned female at birth women, have that problem too. And thank God for the internet, and thank God for, social media, that I have other friends, cisgender girlfriends, that also say, Marty, relax. It's like, I've got stenosis. I had stenosis for a while. Like it's like I couldn't even, like they've had to dilate too, right? So for me, that is that is the main dysphoria. When it comes to people like looking at me and trying to clock me and stuff, that shit doesn't bother me anymore. Sure, it bugs me, when I can feel it. Usually, if I'm in Vancouver, I'm 5'11", and if I'm wearing heels or boots, I live in Vancouver, so a lot of rain boots and stuff. So I'd be like, I'd be over 6 feet, right? And I'm striking, till you see me coming. So if you're in the know about trans stuff, you'd probably, your radar would probably go off a little bit. So, but around here, I basically live in a village on the island here, and people are kind of relaxed about it. It's no big deal. And usually, I'm wearing like hunter boots and stuff. Like just very you know, Queen Elizabeth out at Balmoral, in her Jeep. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that I don't have that, like, I don't have that frontline dysphoria like I used to. When I lived in the city, when I was younger, when I was still figuring it out, I see so much creator content from young trans girls that, are plagued with dysphoria, and because they are in the front line work, if you're a working class girl in the city, you're on the bus or you're constantly, connecting with people. Plus, we're on these freaking space machines, right? That are constantly telling us that we shouldn't exist and stuff, right? Too. So it kind of, fuels all that thought. So um, I'm just really grateful that I'm 60, that I worked really hard so I could live on an island on a half acre, overlooking the sea. And it's like, and I paid my fucking dues. I've like, I've, 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 I've bitten my tongue being around bigots and freaking racists and transphobe people and stuff like that too. And just kind of, Could you imagine what it was like? Like when I started working in straight work in 1991, and the racism, the frickin' sexism, the homophobia, the transphobia, the stuff that I'd hear, and I would just kind of just focus on your job, just focus on your job, right? Pick your battles, and because it was so okay to be like that, you know what I mean? It was just in the last few years that I was working, like 2006, 2007, in the city, that I could start to call out people because people were starting to be called out for that behavior finally, right? My dysphoria is in direct proportion to the environment that's around me. That's how I, have felt it throughout my life. So what I have tried to do is that I know I can't change the world, right? And I think we have dysphoria because of this, gender binary, this is the way it is world that we're fighting against, right? Um, So I think that the more that I surround myself, create an environment like I have here with people that love me unconditionally. I do not have people in my life that would not celebrate who I am, like I celebrate them. And so it's like I'm in a place of privilege today but I built that over my 60 years, and it was not always like that. And I've just come into the acceptance of that in the last few years. I've been here 6 years on the island here. And so all I can say, I don't give advice, but I give suggestions. So if you're having dysphoria, I suggest to you to do the best you can in the world. Like, and just, if you're in school, if you're young, stay in school so that you can get those degrees, to get those really good jobs, and, and just hang in there and bite your tongue. You're going to hear a lot of horrible stuff all around you all the time, and and keep yourself safe. And then when you as you grow and you're becoming the self-supporting person in the world, and you take all these courses, and you build your career, and then you don't have to answer to anybody. You can make those careers where you do not have to answer to anybody or get into those positions to be able to change the system that you're in or change the job that you're in.